Hi everyone, this video is going to be a very practical video because it's a real website. It's a real user that needs support in fixing some of the problems that he has on his website, and I've taken permission from him to record this for educational purposes so that others will learn. So we're going to look at the common issues that people usually run into when they are using the Mega Menu Pro, the tab navigation. You know, it could be any other product, but specifically the Mega Menu Pro and the tab navigation. So, and this is a website that is, is being built, and I'm gonna quickly show you that. So the user has some issues with the website, and first of all, we want to go through the issues one after the other and see how we can solve them. Along the way, we would find out that some of these issues can be resolved, using some of the options in the Mega Menu Pro, and some of them are just basically issues that have to deal with basic HTML and CSS knowledge. Not specifically a problem with the Mega Menu Pro, and we're going to look at all of that. So the first thing is the header margin. So it says the header margin is not moving correctly and it's overlapping with the main content, and then please help adjust the margin between the header and the main content across all pages. So at first I didn't understand what this means, so I had to go in and I noticed that, okay, the page is overlapping. And when it said the margin is not, so I had to take a look at the header. And one thing I want to also let you understand is, in the course of this, you will get to understand that a lot of times you won't be able to resolve an issue until you check the front end to see what is happening. Okay, this is something that every web developer should learn, how to use a browser inspector to inspect. So now this is the header, and without entering into the builder, I already know that he's using a sticky header from Bricks from this class. And I notice the yellow mark, the yellow color here is a margin. So without going in, I can already tell that it's a margin. If you look at the computed value, you see they are color coded. The green is padding. The very light color here, don't know what to call it, is border. Then the margin is the orange. So I can see that he's trying to push down the content, with a margin, but that is not going to work because this is a sticky header, and the sticky header is fixed position by default. And even if it wasn't a fixed position, the margin will just push in the content of the header, give it a space below. So it's not really, of course, he wouldn't have this problem if it wasn't sticky. So that goes without saying. So we don't need this margin here. If you take a look at this, you can see that we have margin bottom here, and we have a max width set. Now, this is Bricks section. Okay, you really don't need the max width. You don't need all these settings. It doesn't change anything. No. So we are going to go into the builder and deal with that. So I'm going to go into the builder. I will go to that header pro div, and then I'm going to go and take off that margin, and then the max width is not required. Every other thing, should remain as a default setting. So nothing will change. Okay. Now this is a Bricks issue, so it's not the Mega Menu Pro issue. When you turn on the sticky header, you have this. So Bricks has a built-in solution for that, which is you go into the template settings, the header. Now you are going to say sticky on scroll. Now when you say sticky on scroll, it's going to allow the page content to show before scrolling. So you can see that it's no longer overlapping, but you can see that it allows the content to show. So that problem has been solved. So we're gonna just strike that out. That has been solved. Second, logo position. It said the logo has shifted to the right. Previously it was in the correct position, but now it looks misaligned. Could you help fix it? I think I could see the problem. The logo is actually supposed to be somewhere here, I think, and it's moved here. Inside the builder, it looks okay. It looks like it's staying where it's supposed to stay. But outside here, it's moved. So it says it shifted to the right. So first thing you want to do is also inspect it. You want to check what is happening. So by inspecting it, I can see that there's a logo here, and then we have another thing here. And this is supposed to be the logo, DWC Next Menu logo. And then we have this here. So let's look. So how come we have two links? So I'm going to click that, and I can see that it's just one, it's not two. So what is the problem? Now, when you look at something like this on the front end, and you see that there is a link, and there's a link here, and you are not supposed to have two of them. The only thing that causes that is that you have placed a link inside a link, and in the front end, since it's not a semantic HTML, it's gonna jump out. It's not gonna allow it to stay, because the browser would not allow a link to stay inside a link. It's gonna move that link outside and place it beside, and that's what's causing this problem. So let's look. The logo wrap comes as a link by default. So when you want to place something inside it, that thing shouldn't have a link. So let's look at this. So you see, it's linking to the home page. So we're going to clear that out. It shouldn't be a link. Your image should just be your logo and should not link to anything, because this already links to your home. Okay, so let's look at that. The URL is, just put a slash there. So that slash makes it link to your home, or you could use dynamic data, and then you can say site URL, and then that will automatically link to your site. So if we do that and go to the front end, you will see that that problem is solved. The logo stays where it is supposed to stay and leads to the home page. That problem is solved. Product menu behavior. When a user clicks on product, I would like it to open the industrial computing option directly. So let's look at that product. So when I go here, okay, so it wants this to open, but currently on refresh, it doesn't open. The first item doesn't open. Okay, so it says in your video you suggested setting the parent as 0. However, since not all products are uploaded yet, I set them as non-term category products, just link. Please help ensure that in all tapped menus, the first item in the list opens by default. Now, I want to point out that this is actually what happens by default in the tapped navigation. This is how I design it. It's supposed to happen. So let's take a look. This, it doesn't open. Let's see. You can see that this one opens. So let's refresh that again. The explore option opens the first tabbed, the first tab by default, but this doesn't open. So what is the problem? So why wouldn't this thing open by default? So we have to go in and check. So I'm going to come in here, and what I'm going to do is I want to go there, and we see that he has done this properly with a template, and then I'm going to open that template. And so let's take a look at what is going on. The first tab should open by default. Okay, I think I can even see what the problem is. This is how the tab navigation comes. It comes, this is the structure. You have the UL, and then you have the LI, but the LI is supposed to have, when you open it, you're supposed to see a button and a tabbed nav content, right? But the first one here, we have the tabbed nav li nested inside another tab nav li, which is invalid HTML. So you have a list item inside another. I'm not quite sure how this could have happened, but maybe while the user was trying to set this up, he may have mistakenly, probably maybe duplicated one, and then, I don't know, I can't even tell how it could have happened, but he managed to make this this mistake by placing a tab nav inside another tab nav li. So all we need to do is to move it out, yeah, and then delete this. So then we have a proper structure. So this must have been a mistake from the user. So we're going to save that, and let's go to the front end again and refresh. So let's see if that will solve the problem. That solved the problem. So that was where the problem came from. You have to understand that HTML, structures are very important. You don't mess with them. You don't just think that you can do things anyhow, wrap things anyhow. You have to look at the HTML structure, look at the tags to know the UL is here, an li, for example. You can't drop any other thing here that is not an li. And this is a component. You also have to understand that everything has a purpose, the structure. So the only thing you can do anything you want to do with is inside the content inner, that you can delete this and place another content and build your layout. And even at that, if you don't understand the basics of layout, CSS layout, you're still going to mess up the navigation, so it still requires you to know how to build things responsively. Let's go and yeah, so we have sorted this out. The last thing, mobile layout. I want to optimize the layout for mobile, especially on the partner page. Ideally, I would like the partner brands to display either as a drop-down list or as images with correct sizing for a cleaner look. So let's close this. Okay, let's look. What is the partner? Okay, so list of logos. Let's look at the mobile. One of the things I also like pointing out is you need to make sure that you sort out your page layouts. For example, I can't tell why we're having a big gap here. If your page is not properly laid out, you may even have issues with the way the header, the navigation works, because anything that throws off the balance. So one of the things I usually do when I want to know where the problem is coming from, apart from the popular, border technique where you add a border for everything. First of all, I just want to isolate, is it coming from the website, the main content? And I deleted the main content and the gap left, so I can tell for sure that it's coming from the main content. Okay, so you can see that I undid that and the main content came back. So basically you want to make sure you fix what is causing this overflow, find it and fix it. Okay, so let's deal with this. There are other things. For example, let's deal with this. So the tab navigation, so the user has chosen to slide in like that. And but he has also chosen expanding. So what happens is that when you choose expand, you will not be able to, this is not going to work, because when you come here, you can't go back. There's no way to go back. See, there's no way to go back when you slide in the navigation, the tab navigation. You can't go back. Let's go to that explore, and you can see that if you slide in, you can't go back. There's no way, because you choose expand. So if you want to choose expand for the tab navigation, for the main navigation, then you have to make sure that the tab navigation also expands. So how to do that is, let's go to the tab navigation, and for each of the tab navigation, you have to go and set it to not slide. So it also expands, because sliding will not work if the parent is expanding. It works, but how are you going to go back? You can't go back. So let's do this. Now you go to the tab navigation container, the attributes, you will go to data sliding. So all you have to do is turn off that value of true. Let's save that. So we have done that in the first one. So I'm going to refresh and let's check how it looks. Products. Oh, so we see that it's sort of working, but not completely, but at least you can open it and then close it. So we see we have a problem here. So if I inspect this, you'll find out that if it is not sliding, we need to change the direction of the parent. Now, this is an old version. In the newer version, I don't think you are supposed to deal with this on your own. So this should have been taken care of automatically. So I will classify this as a bug, because the user shouldn't have to deal with this. So this has been fixed in the newer version. But what you do is you go to that list item, like this, the LI. So you can see that this is the button and this is, so they are side by side. You see, they are horizontal. So what we could do is set them to display vertically. So I'm gonna just do that. So I'm gonna set it to display vertically, and let's save and take a look if that worked. So I'll refresh this, and all right, so that works. I'm gonna close this, go to explore, and we're going to open that and also delete that. We're going to remove that true from data sliding. So that's basically all there is that we need to do. You don't need to be around for when I'm fixing this. I don't want to keep you waiting. I hope you learned something from this session. Do have a great day. Bye.